I was going to do the subject of this podcast yesterday, but I lost track of it in my documents. Apparently, I failed to save it, and so I was a little bit lost. However, good news, I found it again,
Yeah.
so we can carry on. And I wanted to use this particular report as it ties in with other reports from over the last few days. So, on Wednesday, the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, spent the day with US President Donald Trump at the White House. For some reason, Rutte has been called the Trump Whisperer, which for some reason I tended to think that that title was given to Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. But I digress. I thought it was that they gave that title to. Mr. Rutte offered his ear to Trump's complaint about Europe and its relationship and obligations to NATO, and how he was disappointed with some NATO members who turned their back on the US when the US asked for some assistance. He said, Trump said, we were disappointed in most of them. I just want loyalty. You know, we're so loyal to them. We're always fighting for them. And he pointed out the military bases in Europe providing security assistance to countries who are NATO members. He said, in Germany, we have 50,000 troops. And then you want a little, give us a little nudge, give us a little kiss. I thought he was on about Meloni there, don't
Yeah. Well,
they? We don't want much, and they say, no, we can't do it.
mm,
Trump called out Spain, said they were terrible, saying they wanted a free ride whilst refusing to spend on their own defence. Rutte rebutted by saying that although Trump had reason for disappointment, that these were isolated cases. He went on to say that the US flew 40 to 50,000 sorties from Europe during the first 6 weeks of the conflict, which is true, but they weren't urgent as the first initial flights were, and that is when the US needed the bases to refuel the aircraft on their way to the Middle East. That's when they needed them the most.
yes.
Also, Rutte said that Europe has invested in the US, creating 85,000 jobs, which in my mind, if you pull the camera just back just a little bit, is not a great deal when you cover the overall value of the US economy.
No.
Trump said that German Chancellor Merz and Spanish Prime Minister Paulo Sanchez, whose wife is being charged for corruption in Spain, and other countries critical of the Iran campaign, should concentrate their energies on fixing their own countries. Merz said in response that he would not send his children to travel to the US due to the American social climate. That's right, Friedrich. Send your kids to Hamburg instead. They'll love that because it's dire. It's
Yeah.
dire in Germany with all the
Yeah.
foreigners in Germany.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Trump went scorched earth on Giorgia Meloni, saying that she begged to take a photo with him at the G7 conference because it would improve her ratings in Italy. Trump said that out of pity he agreed. Now, that rattled Meloni right to the core.
Yes.
She said it was not true, that she does not beg, and nor does Italy. So Italy might find itself out of the loop, no matter how beguiling Meloni is when it comes to the fellas. She is an attractive woman, you can't ignore that. And she
Well,
knows it, and
yeah.
she uses it
Yeah.
to wind up the blokes.
Well,
You can
yes.
tell.
Yes.
So I believe the official NATO meeting will be in a few weeks. I think on the 7th of July, if I'm mistaken, something like that.
Right. Okay.
So it'll be an interesting one to watch. I think this next one will be interesting.
Right.
Off, off you
Uh,
go on that.
okay. Right. Okay. These are people. Mark Rutte is still a politician and not a military leader and everything else, and he's trying to play the game a bit. And yeah, at one point he's been quite. If you actually watched a little bit more of the video, he's been quite sycophantical towards Trump, and then the other thing is we've hit him with a bit of a stick. This is what we've done. This is what we've done. Um, he's I mean, Trump was just sitting there. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he had all. Yeah, he did. He did. He was like somebody in Congress who was, yeah, showing all the had all the props ready to go. Okay, yeah, that's what I saw. Um, I
It was
mean,
like Rutte was making a presentation.
yeah,
It was like it was on what's it, Dragon's Den,
yeah, that was it.
making a
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah,
Trump was just absorbing it. Yeah,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, it wasn't a PowerPoint presentation because that would have been a definite death by press by PowerPoint. Yeah, yeah, if you've been in business like I've, Steve, and you've sat through a few of these um, BS sessions, yeah. Okay, Mark is making a point. We've done this, done that. Yeah, we need help. I mean, it's almost yeah. Um, Without drawing comparisons to Maloney, yeah, it was like it's Mark Rutte's version of trying to smooth the smooth the guy to, I suppose, get his orders.
Calm the raging sea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Whether or not it's working or not, I'll leave. Yeah, if you watch the video, I won't put a link to the video. You can go research. People research themselves if they want, but it's an interesting video to watch in body language apart from anything else. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm going to go a different angle with it all. I do think possibly the US should consider its position with regards to Europe and defense and everything. Um, but yes, when it asks for a favor, and I mean, Did yeah, you're quite right. I mean, okay, they've created 85,000 jobs in the US. I'd love be interested to know what these were. Yeah, breakdown more. But it's doing what, and as you said, in the scheme of things, compared with how much money the US has put into the defense of Europe, I think it's like the small change in the petty cash bowl. Yeah.
dropping.
Um,
Yeah,
85,000 jobs. That's probably two million, £2 million, $2 million, something. I don't know. Yeah,
and
a
it's low
job.
paying jobs.
Yeah, I mean, but as I said, depends what they are. And okay, you got to spread out local communities as well. Local community jobs as well. But um, compared with what the amount of wealth the American base has created across Europe when they're in full swing, full operation, yeah, to local economies. And I know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Americans were self-sufficient. They had their own McDonald's and everything things on those bases. But yeah, the servicemen used to go and spend their money elsewhere in the communities and elsewhere, and did enjoy mini breaks in the UK as well, I believe. Yeah, they weren't confined to base. They could go out and enjoy Europe as well. Um, right. As to traveling around Europe, as to traveling around, yes, I mean, many football fans at the moment have happened to travel to the US and have been very, very pleasantly surprised by the welcome they have had and how different the US is compared with media and political representations that have been across Europe. There's videos
Yeah,
online.
it's
Yeah,
always good to have your feet on the ground.
yeah,
So somebody can say something,
yeah,
a politician can say something, but if you've got your feet on the ground, you can see it's not true.
yeah,
Saying that, of course, we have to take into consideration that when you're a visitor in another
yeah,
country, the tendency is for you to stay in the high end area
yeah, of
rather
course.
than rather than the slums and the back streets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a joke about Waffle House and what's the other one? Yeah, big one there, and places like this. And also, yeah, I mean, people have been enjoying the countryside in in the US as well. Yes, I mean, I must admit, when I travelled to the US, went for a little walk in San Diego, probably ended up in a few back streets there, just to have a look. Again, not in any real danger or anything, but this was going back to the year must be about 94. 1994 is the last time I was seriously in the US. God, that's an age ago now. Yeah. Yes, it is a yeah. So when he sort of saying, yeah, I'm not going to send my kids to the US because of the political climate there. What political climate?
Social climate,
Eh?
social, the
Social
social
climate,
climate.
the social climate. People are not experiencing it. I mean, even walking about down a main road, you could see, you can sometimes see if it's wrong. If you, like you said, you go to Hamburg in the main road, on the main roads, I believe. Um, there's people who are wandering about harassing. In London, you go to London, they've just cleared a couple of tent cities from London. Yeah, down.
Yep, yep.
So yeah, I mean, this isn't speculation. I come from there, and I know people firsthand that heard about it. I've seen people taking pictures that I know. Yeah. So when you make
Well,
comparisons,
40 years ago, I was in Germany,
mm,
and I was sat on a bench, sat on a park bench.
yeah,
Um, and this bloke came across and asked me if I had any uh, um, Deutschmarks I can give him. And I did. I think I gave him something like 5 Deutschmarks, which is about, I don't know, about 3 quid, 4 quid,
yeah,
uh, back in those days. And he sat down, and I asked him, he was used to be a serviceman. He used to be in the army, the guy.
yeah,
And then a Muslim woman walked past
yeah,
wearing the full
yeah.
garb,
Okay, yeah,
right? And he said, "Look," he said, "that those people, they get all the houses, while I have to go begging."
all right,
And that stayed with me. That little, that those people get all the houses, and while I have to go begging, that stayed with me. I can't remember the guy's name. I
no,
can't remember what we spoke about. Anything else? Just that cool. Those little two phrases that he said.
mm.
And that's 40 odd years ago now. And I imagine that these days it's rife.
Again, yeah, we're not feet on the ground, and maybe somebody can put us right or wrong on it. I mean, I remember when I was at school, all this Scott said is the immigrants or they get the houses first. Now, whether or not that was true or not, or just speculation. Um,
Most of
again,
it was speculation because what happened in the UK when you were at school,
mm,
more or less when I was at school,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah, you're only a few years older than me.
so I was like 10 years before you,
Yeah,
but that's not by the by.
yeah,
But what used to happen is that the Pakistani nationals or the Indian nationals, we always lumped them together,
yeah.
right?
No,
And and it was like 10 to a house.
mm,
But basically, what they all did is they all contributed. They were all from the same family,
yeah,
whether they be cousins
yeah,
or uncles and aunties, and they all went out to work and they pulled all the money so they could
mm,
buy another house,
yeah,
and then buy another house, and then buy
mm,
another house. Before you have it, they all dispersed and
yeah,
started renting the houses out,
yes,
and that's where all that came from.
yes, yeah.
They get all the houses, but the thing is, they had to graft for them.
They worked for it, yeah, and respect them for that, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
or they all club together and open up a corner shop, or club together and do something.
well, contributing,
Open up a factory.
yeah,
Yeah.
contributing, yeah,
Something that British hardly ever do. But anyway, I digress.
yeah, yeah. So obviously there's that side to it now, yeah. But yeah, I mean, getting back to this thing about NATO and its contributions and
Yeah.
everything else, um, the fact that Trump is threatening or threatened or has done to a certain point pulled military assets and personnel personnel out of Europe, and it's rather left the Europeans feeling rather exposed.
Yep,
Um,
of course.
Says it all really, the reliance we had on it. Um, and he kept saying about, years ago when his last tenure as being the president, 45th, um, I'm planning to do this. And he was being laughed at a lot at the time, really. And hey, by God, he's done it. Um, I mean, I do think that maybe, yeah, he should be thinking about maybe I should be helping him a bit with protection because of the longer term things that could happen. Whether or not that's with Russia or another
I,
entity, I don't know.
I think that's for the next president to sort out, not this one. He
Yeah,
should stick. I think he should stick to his guns, and I'm sure that the what's going to happen in NATO is that either it's going to disband,
yeah,
or the US is going to well, the US for sure, I think, is going to reduce their contribution to NATO
yeah.
and put the burden on more to the European and other members
Mm,
of NATO because, like Trump said in his first term, you're delinquent. You're all delinquent.
mm, yeah,
You know, don't know about laughing at him. I think they were absolutely revolted. They 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 uh they hated him saying that
mm,
because it's delinquent. It's such an ugly word.
yeah.
You
Are
know,
are you suggesting he says things to get a reaction from people? You know, he's not
that
doesn't.
that that certainly worked.
Yeah,
It's like the same when he said that Maloney had begged him for the photo and he took pity on her.
mm,
Well, I mean, wow, you know.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, okay, you say about her being attractive and all. I mean, I think she's a capable person. Yeah. Um, yeah, and okay, she may. I mean,
I think
yeah,
that hurt him. Not not politically.
yeah,
It hurt her,
possibly.
I think, emotionally, if you like.
Well, nothing's worse than a woman scorned. And that's what basically what he
That's
did.
right. That's
Yeah, I
right.
mean, he's a braver man than I am. I never dream of saying that to any female, but yes, yeah,
I think they should just get a room.
yeah. I don't. Oh dear. Yeah, I think I think he's. Yeah, don't forget, Trump's married to an Eastern European woman, and they don't mess about when it comes to revenge. Yeah.